everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Giselle and I am your astrologer. Today we will be looking at the chart for the Aries solar eclipse that's coming up on April the 8th. We'll also be looking at two other major astrological happenings that are occurring in the month of April. The first one being our Mercury Retrograde in Aries, and the second one being a very rare and super powerful Jupiter Uranus conjunction. Here is our Aries solar eclipse chart, and this eclipse will be exact on April the 8th, 2024, around 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Adjust your time zone as needed. This whole eclipse season is centered on the self. It's centered on themes that is reflective or representative of Aries. Aries represents fresh starts, new beginnings, powerful initiatory energy, the self, identity, desires, a warrior-like persona, going after what you want, acting from a place of instinct, pushing forth, diving in headfirst, being a risk taker, taking leaps of faith, etc., etc. So this Aries solar eclipse will be centered and focused on that. We had our lunar eclipse in Libra, which was a huge release, a letting go of a shadow that pulls us away from really honoring and embodying our individual Aries energy. And although this is a collective experience, meaning that everybody is going through this solar eclipse, it's not something that we're experiencing as a collective, if that makes sense. So this isn't Aquarian energy where it's the whole collective is moving through something together. This is each individual is focusing on themselves. Each individual is provided with an opportunity to come back to themselves. During the solar eclipse, we have the sun, the moon, the North Node, and Chiron all together, and Mercury. Mercury is retrograde. But this is a huge collection of energy in Aries. And because Aries is such a powerful new beginning, and because this is a solar eclipse, we are experiencing a supercharged new moon. This is new moon on steroids. Every new moon is an opportunity for a new beginning, a new fresh start, new intention, planting new seeds, yada, yada, yada. But this one in particular, because it's in the sign of Aries and it's a solar eclipse, it is huge. A brand new cycle is starting at this time. And this cycle is going to depend on how you take action. This cycle is going to depend on how you use this energy or what comes up for you, whether or not you take that leap of faith or you hold yourself back. All of that is going to come into play during this time. I'm going to explain a little bit more, but before we get into that, I want to talk about Chiron. Now, Chiron is playing a major, major role in this eclipse, and it's not just because it's at 19 degrees with the sun and the moon, honestly, within 5 minutes of the moon and Chiron. Like, that's an insanely close conjunction. It is absolutely ridiculous. I want to talk about Chiron also because Mercury will be retrograding over Chiron. There are going to be 3 passes between Mercury and Chiron, and Mercury represents our state of mind. It represents our mental energy. It represents something that we really reflect on and we review and we look back over. Being in Aries, it's very hasty. When we have a retrograde, especially in Mercury, we need to slow down. We need to slow down, we need to think, we need to plan, we need to restructure, we need to regroup. Chiron is called the wounded healer. Chiron represents wounds that we carry within ourselves that cannot fully be healed, that we have to tend to on a regular basis. And when Chiron is moving through the zodiac, it's representing something that we're all sort of collectively experiencing. And I'd like to bring attention to this thing that we have sort of embraced, and it has to do with identity, but it is pronouns. This is very much Chiron in Aries. It is, who am I and how do I want to be seen? Who am I and how do I want people to refer to me? It's not about blending in with what you think society wants you to be. When Chiron is in Aries, we're really focusing on the self and we're really focusing on identity. And we're digging deep into where the wounds are. We're digging deep into unraveling where the pain is, where we have perhaps betrayed ourselves, where we've perhaps received some sort of abuse in the sense of being bullied, being controlled, being manipulated, being mistreated, or denied yourself in some way. And it's not to say that no one's ever been through this in their life. I'm pretty sure everybody has experienced some sort of mistreatment and not done anything about it, or some sort of bullying or some sort of manipulation and not acted on it, not defended themselves, not fought for their right or stood for themselves. Because Aries is representative of the warrior and of the self, we're really looking at this opportunity to heal these wounds, to find forgiveness and release towards ourselves for allowing these wounds to occur, for not standing up for ourselves, for, maybe someone experienced this as a kid and they didn't know how to deal with the situation. They didn't know how to stand up against a bully, for example. What Mercury retrograde conjunct Chiron will bring is a more deep understanding of the core wound that we carry around identity. It's going to be all about learning and tending to this wound, tending to whatever pain that we're holding inside, whatever pain that we've identified with and attached to, and sharing these insights with others who are struggling with the same wound. This is the wound that does not heal. It is something that is left. It's like a scar. There's always the memory of it. It's never fully healed. However, tending to it and learning from it and helping others helps to improve our experience and heal ourselves. I have an example here that I think would provide a perfect perception of how Chiron is representing a wound that does not heal around identity. Think of a mother who has a child, and this child is 5 years old, and she's raised him. She absolutely adores and loves him. He's full of light and life. This is her only child. And this child dies. This is a wound that will not heal for that mother. That mother identifies as a mother, or the father identifies as a father. And that pain is always going to be there. That loss is always going to be there. Every time they think of who am I and they are stuck with the mother identity, they're going to remember that painful experience of losing their child. What happens is that this person, when they're tending to that wound and they're learning about that wound, they'll begin to explore and learning about their healing and overcoming the pain by seeking out help, by seeing a therapist, by finding a support group. And then with that, everything that they gain and all of the strength that they draw from all of these supportive experiences are going to provide them with an opportunity to help a friend who's also lost a child, or help somebody in a support group who's new and has also lost a child. There's a lot of wisdom to be gained when you tend to your wounds, when you look deep to your wounds, when you reflect on them, when you try to heal from them. And losing something or somebody in your life, especially when it's something that is out of your control, it becomes extremely empowering when you tend to that wound. It doesn't heal it, but it becomes empowering. You end up taking the power back instead of feeling like the power is out of your hands. And every time this mother or father helps someone, they reclaim a part of themselves and they find one fragment at a time and they start to add on to their identity. So I hope that that is a good explanation as to Chiron, like a glimpse into what Chiron could represent for somebody as an example. So it's the wound that does not heal. Now we have a new beginning, and this new beginning can be centered around a wound, around the self, something that we have maybe denied within ourselves, something that we have pushed aside or swept under the rug, or maybe perhaps completely denied because it was not accepted by society, or not accepted by your parents, or not accepted by your spouse or your friends, or you have a fear of judgment, or you have a fear of losing people if you show and bear your true self. This solar eclipse is a call to step into your true self and to overcome that fear. This is a call to honestly and courageously shed any mask that you've been hiding behind and step into you and all your uniqueness. Fear may be present as we embark upon a new journey. There's always fear of the unknown, fear of not knowing how people are going to react. But if you are completely debilitated by that fear and worrying about how people are going to react, you are stuck in South Node energy. You need to come out of the South Node energy, which is what we typically default back on. And we need to move into the North Node energy, which is very brave. It's bold. It's courageous. It's honoring ourselves. It's empowering ourselves. It's doing something because you want to do it. It's doing something because it is reflective of you. The stars are aligned for you to overcome your fear by just doing it. Aries moves in head first, and that's what you need to do. You need to rip off the Band-Aid and don't apologize. Don't turn back. The celestial support is so strong and immense right now to break free from whatever cage you've been locked in. So you can ask yourself, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? And then secondly, identify with that desire, with that image, and state it to yourself. Like, for example, if it could be something as simple as, I want peace, like my life is chaotic and I want peace. Then state, I want peace. Identify with that desire. I am at peace. I am at peace. And then take action. Take 1 hour a day. Be selfish to do something for yourself that brings you peace. Go for a walk in nature. Do a yoga class. Do a yin class. Or your desire is to be fit. You want to be in the best shape you've ever been. Then say, I am in the best shape I've ever been. Think I am statements when it comes to Aries. Aries is I am. I am in the best shape I've ever been. And then choose actions based off of that. And if that means you need to take time away from other people and say no, then so be it. You're doing it for yourself because it is who you want to be and what you want to do. The ruler of our solar eclipse is Mars, and Mars is conjunct Saturn. And Saturn is a very authoritative presence. It's very limiting, it's structured, it has rules, it has boundaries. Now, when we have Mars, which is very action oriented and wants to step on the gas pedal, and then we have Saturn, which represents consequences and wants us to break, it wants us to stop, it wants us to hold back. We have a clash of energy here. And because there's a conjunction, it is a reset. It's a new start, it's a new beginning. And how I see this energy is that we need to break these rules, these boundaries, and these limits that we've placed on ourselves. Why? Because Aries is the ruler of our solar eclipse. The North Node is here in Aries, and the ruler of Aries is Mars. We need to follow Mars. Mars is our guiding light at this time. It is conjunct Saturn, so we need to restructure completely all of the boundaries, all of the limits, all of the masks, all of the rules, everything that we are trying to live within, this little constructed box that you've placed around yourself. You need to break it, break down the walls. You need to cut cords with what was, and we're going to move into the future. Saturn always represents consequences, but if you think about it, no matter what action you take, whether you go right, whether you go left, there's going to be a consequence. So choose your consequence. Do you want to experience consequences that are aligned with who you are? And at least you have the pride of saying, I'm not sorry because this is who I am and this is what I want. Or do you want to have the consequence of betraying yourself once again and adding to that core wound around your identity? Or being quiet when you're mistreated and not standing up for yourself and adding to that wound around your identity or around the self. The key here is that you are honest and you are committed to yourself. This is going to be a risk that you need to be willing to take. Holding back is going to be a dishonor to yourself and to your spiritual path and your purpose. Saturn represents tests, trials, and tribulations. And the actions that you take, which is Mars, will determine whether you'll be granted what you desire. Who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you want? How do you plan to get what you want? What actions are you willing to take? This is all about taking a leap of faith with courage and being fearless to be yourself, to take what's yours, to fight for yourself, and to walk your own path. Because they're in Pisces, it's representing the end of a cycle. It's representing the end of something old, especially with Saturn being there. Saturn representing the past and old and everything that we've sort of built. It's like a foundation. And Pisces dissolves that. So we are dissolving how things were and we are embarking on something new. And I really, really, really hope that you take this opportunity because this is a really powerful start. This is a really powerful new beginning. But at the end of the day, free will has its place, and you need to make these decisions for yourself. You need to be able to say no. You need to be able to walk away. You need to be able to walk your own path. First and foremost, you need to dedicate to yourself. You need to commit to yourself. You need to honor yourself. These two are also in a really supportive sextile, just as the lunar eclipse in the last video. But these two are in a really supportive sextile with Jupiter and Uranus. And Jupiter and Uranus are even closer now. So they're about to conjunct on April, I think it's the 21st. And this is going to be a really powerful conjunction. I'll get to that. But I wanted to mention this because whenever you have a sextile, it represents an opportunity for you to take. If you don't take it, nothing happens. But if you take an opportunity when it's presented to you, something positive can come from it. And with this, because you have Uranus, which is the change maker, and Jupiter, which is the planet of abundance, the planet of blessings, this is a really, really, really powerful time. And I hope that you choose actions that are aligned with everything that you want. All right, very briefly, Jupiter and Uranus are conjoining at 21 degrees in Taurus. This is a very rare and lucky conjunction. This doesn't happen very often. The next one will be in 2038. So we are in 2024. In 14 years, we'll have our next conjunction. And that conjunction will be in Cancer. So because this conjunction is happening in Taurus, the sign of self-worth, value, stability, growth, sensuality, pleasure, enjoyment, peace, we will be experiencing collectively and on individual levels a sudden leap into this area of your chart. The place that this conjunction is happening in your chart is going to determine how this is going to manifest for you. If you have planets or points in and around 21 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Aries, and Leo, this is going to be a powerful moment for you. You can give and take, I don't know, 3 or 4 degrees in orb. So let's say from 17, 18 degrees to 24, 25 degrees of those signs. This is going to be a very obvious change for you. If you have anything between, we'll do the same degree orb, 18 to 24 degrees of any of the earth signs. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This is going to be a very easeful start for you. Everything is going to flow. So it may not be noticeable, but it's just it'll feel like a really soft, bountiful blessing. And especially because it's in an earth sign, it's got this essence of of something materializing, of being able to experience it with your senses. This will present as an opportunity that offers abundance for years to come, years to come. But you need to believe that you are deserving and worth it. If you don't have the built up self-worth and self-value that you are deserving of abundance, you are deserving of what you desire, chances are you're going to block that for yourself. And that's going to be something that you need to work on. If there's something that you want, state it to yourself, affirm it to yourself, believe it in yourself. This conjunction will reach its full peak. So as with every conjunction, think of like the sun and moon. Right now we have a conjunction between the sun and the moon. And then whenever we have a full moon, when the moon is on the opposite side of the chart, we experience the fullness or the peak of it. The next time that Uranus and Jupiter will be opposite each other, so when we reach the peak of this cycle, will be in 2031. So in 2031, mark it on your calendar or just put the year in your mind. Whatever opportunity you embark upon, whatever sudden insight, download, illumination that you receive, that you put into action, or that you do something with, by 2031, you should see a full fruition of it. You should see the peak result of what was started at this time. And I think that that's super incredible to even think about. And I'm excited to hear what comes up for you in 7 years. And when that time comes, I'll probably still be here, and I will probably reference this video. And if you did watch this video and you do happen to watch the one 7 years from now, then you can comment on what unfolded and manifested for you over the course of these 7 years. So that's all I have for you today. I wish you a wonderful eclipse season. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.